we're now going to hand over to Komala Pillay. So Komala's story is that she was a manager at Sasol when she was part of PFP, and now she's a member of our team. She's leading the team. So Komala, over to you. What have you gained from PFP? How did it happen that you are now part of this program, having done this as a Sasol leader?
Thanks, Louise. So yes, I'm a relatively new member of the Symphonia team. So Louise is actually my boss at the moment, so I have to be very careful about what I say. No, but I'm actually going to speak as a Sasol leader, and I was in Sasol 6 months ago, actually 5 months ago. So I'm just going to reflect on my experience while I was with Sasol. So I worked at Sasol for 18 years. I'm a chemical engineer by training. And I've been very fortunate. I had a fantastic experience at Sasol. First as an engineer doing technical work, and thereafter on the business side, I had the opportunity to work in a number of different operating and strategic functions. And I really was able in my time there to hone my skills as a general manager. So this is Komala, the Sasol general manager, speaking rather than Komala, the PFP program director. So I came across PFP, it was probably about 2.5 years ago, when I was looking for a way to give back, and specifically for a way in which I could give back meaningfully within education. I've always done some volunteer work in my life, and you know, the usual kind of thing where you either giving money or you're giving some of your time, you may be doing some sort of menial work. But what I was really looking for was an opportunity to share my knowledge and experience. So rather than maybe going and painting a classroom, I'm a terrible painter, I wanted to share some of my business experience. And seeing this PFP program described, this was absolutely exactly what I was looking for. So I joined the program. I was lucky I was able to convince the Sasol team to sponsor me. I joined the program in 2018. I was partnered with a principal from Soweto, Klipspreid West. Absolutely amazing principal, wonderful woman, Ilana Herodine. I can talk for hours about her, which I won't do today. So I did definitely get on my PFP journey. I got that opportunity to give back. I worked together with Ilana on a couple of projects. We successfully completed it. One of them was a literacy center. It was extremely satisfying, that opportunity to really give back to the school and to the children there. What I wasn't expecting, actually, what I never expected, what I didn't sign up for was my own personal development and my leadership development. And so that was actually quite a pleasant surprise. So Grant and Aisha have already explained quite a lot of those leadership development learnings, and it's quite interesting listening to them, because what I found with the program, it is structured, and it's built upon a very solid, well-recognized learning methodology, but it's not a cookie-cutter approach. And so everyone's experience on the program will be unique based on your own background and what you bring to the program. So the learnings then are slightly different for everyone, but listening to Aisha and Grant, it's quite clear that there's these few themes, these key themes that everyone on the program is going to be experienced too. I think the one that I specifically wanted to highlight was the concept of servant leadership. So for those of you in corporate, I'm sure very familiar with this term, servant leadership, and you know, with many of these corporate buzzwords and phrases, it starts to lose meaning as we throw it around. So I'm going to try not to abuse it too much today. It was interesting when I started my PFP journey, the conversation within Sasol was about unlocking human potential and how leaders could enable rather than stifle their teams. So for those of you coming from corporate, you'll know immediately what I mean. Successful leaders rise through the ranks in organizations because they are the ones with the ideas. They've got the fresh thinking, and they've got the solutions to the problems. So when you are that sort of leader, and I would say all leaders as going through the ranks are that sort of leader, you have qualities that make it exceptionally difficult to unlock potential in others. So in an organization, a lot depends on a handful of people, which I think often works fine until it doesn't work fine. And so Steinhoff is a very clear example of this, where a lot was dependent upon one person in the organization. And there's many other examples that I won't go to that we know of where this is happening in business. So what the Partners for Possibility program does, it takes this bright talent and it doesn't put them behind the steering wheel, but it puts them in the back seat. So me going into the program, or any business leader from corporate going into the program, you're out of your comfort zone. You don't have the teaching background and skills and knowledge. You have to really listen and truly listen to understand so that you can contribute. So listening and really strengthening those listening skills are paramount. And you cannot direct, you cannot tell the principal what to do. You have to build a relationship. You have to guide through influence and through advising. So this is what the PFP program forces leaders to do. And the other aspect of the program that I found quite remarkable is that, you know, often with a leadership development intervention, you go in and maybe you're lucky like Grant and you go to spend a couple of weeks in INSEAD, but it's a finite time period. You go in there, you learn a few things, you go back into your work environment, you forget probably about 80% or 90% of what you've learned. But with the Partners for Possibility program, you have to practice these new skills over a full year. And you've got over that year support from a coach who will guide you, will also kind of remind you when you're not being true to the leadership development practices. And you've also got a community of other leaders who are on their own journey, but who will support you and will share, they will share their experiences with you. So this is what I found to be really very unique and powerful about the PFP program. I considered myself a good team leader before this program. I thought I was fairly good. My manager could always rely on me to get the job done. I think I'm a better leader now because I'm better able to tap into the talents within the team. I can still get the job done, but I believe, maybe I hope, that I'm at the same time empowering the people around me and helping create new leaders, so that the reliance is not just on me as an individual, but that the entire team is working together. And I think the other important thing is that we are all imperfect humans. We do forget, we do revert back to our normal behaviors that have been ingrained over years. But what has really helped me with PFP is that I still have my relationship with Ilana, my principal partner. And by continuing that relationship, and I know she thinks that I'm doing it for her, but it's actually mainly for me. She reminds me every time we meet of the commitment I've made to become a better leader. I think I'm out of time, so I just want to quickly close. If I look at business is becoming more and more challenging. We're competing with companies from across the world. Within South Africa, you know, the old giants of the past cannot afford to rest in their laurels. We've seen that companies trying to go abroad, not being successful. Business today needs leaders who are able to tap into the talents of everyone in the organization. For me, PFP is an extremely practical intervention that can help create these leaders who can tap into the talents of people around them and be more successful and make the organizations more successful. So yeah, thanks, Louise. I think I am out of time. I'm over time.
Thank you very much, Komala. That was wonderful to listen to you. And I mean, exactly. So we specifically, when we looked at who can take the organization forward, we were looking for someone who have learned these lessons, because we want the organization to be consistent with our theory. And it's been wonderful to see Komala practice exactly what we are preaching as she's joined our team. So thanks, Komala. I'm going to go straight on to Clive just because of time, but really want to encourage anybody, if you've been touched or inspired by anything that Komala said, if you could just share that in the chat as a way of just acknowledging her contribution, but also just for your own learning and a way to, to just kind of let this time that we spent together work for you. So The final